Chair. Oh, my sound's on. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody for taking the time to discuss what is obviously a very important issue to all of us with the time spent on it today. I wanted to start by mentioning, I heard that we all have various experiences, and that is absolutely true. We want all those various experiences in this building. That's what makes this body work. So I wanted to talk about a couple of mine that, bring me to this bill, that bring me to being a sponsor on this bill. I grew up in Littleton, Colorado. I went to Chatfield High School. Columbine was my rival high school. I happened to be working at South Glen Mall the day that Columbine happened and watched police officers run from the mall, from the junior department where I worked, to go respond. That was a life-shattering incident that happened in my community. I happened to have two classmates of mine in my same grade that had siblings murdered at Columbine. I was like 20 years old at the time, though, so we had some other colleagues talk about how they've grown up with this violence since they were 2 years old. That was the first time it happened to me. I had the luxury of becoming 20 before this issue was really forefront in my mind, in my community's mind. Some years later, I'm a mom, I have 4 kids. I know I talk about it all the time, you're probably sick of it. We were at City Park, Jazz in the Park. There was a shooting there where my daughter had bullets grazing the ground inches in front of her feet. That obviously impacted my daughter. We had to run and scramble and cover all of our children in the grass. That was an impactful moment for me in 2012. About a month later, the Aurora Theater shooting. If any of you don't know, that theater is in my district. It's one of the most affordable theaters in the metro area, so guess what? My family of 6, that's where we go to see our movies. We were planning on seeing Batman there the next night. It's a movie theater that I still go to. It's still really affordable, thank goodness. So I've seen that in my community. As far as workplace, before I came here, I worked at a job that dealt with the community, and at my desk, when I'm having people come up and speak to me, a gentleman came in with a gun on his hip, on his belt. I'm not a gun person, I'm surprise, surprise. So I don't know what it was or whatever, but it was a gun out on his belt. This was a place that had a couple hundred people in it. And he made very clear how upset he was to be in this place. And you could see in this sea of 200 people that as he's starting to get upset and yell, and as I have a gun in my face, right where this microphone stand is, everyone's hair on the back of their necks is rising, worrying about, we're about to be involved in a shooting incident. Those are some of the things that guide me, that shape the kind of policy that I come here to do. And part of it is, and I'll talk a little bit about here in a second about culture, because I think there is a conversation to be had about that. But this bill specifically is not just about mass shootings like Columbine or things that we all know happen and have happened in places. It's also about heated arguments or heated situations like at my workplace. It's about people being afraid, things escalating, people pulling guns, bullets both ways, which I think is not ideal. That to me just feels like war zone. That is not my ideal state of being in public anywhere. And obviously accidents and suicides. And I've really tried to handle this issue quite respectfully, and I believe in that. My first session when I came here, I didn't realize that guns were allowed in the chamber. And the only way I found that out is because of an accident that happened in this building. And I happened to sit fairly close to that person. And I have felt unsafe in this chamber since then. And not from intentional actions. I'm not worried that anybody here would intentionally hurt me. But we have had situations every year that I've been here where accidents have happened. Accidents happen. I'd like them not to involve firearms. And so that's why I come to this bill wanting to keep myself safe and every other person in this building, in this chamber, And I do. I value our state patrol. You are right, we all get threats. It's really gross, but it happens to us all. If I ever feel unsafe, I will absolutely take the state patrol up on an offer to walk me to my car. They are trained professionals. I am not. I don't want to be a soldier. I don't want to be a police officer. But I will handily rely on the folks who do serve that job in our community and in this building. As far as culture, I think we have a culture problem, and it's been going on for some decades. As we are, when I was a kid, this focus on this issue wasn't quite where it is now. So it's taken some decades to get here. You all know I'm a super movie fan. I love post-apocalyptic movies, really into Mad Max. Furiosa is coming out this summer. I don't want to live in that world. I have 4 kids. Again, I didn't give birth to 4 kids so that they can grow up in a post-apocalyptic hellscape where it's every man for themselves, where it's a personal arms race, and that there is no trust or feeling of safety in our world. I don't want to live that way. I don't want my kids to have to live that way. And I heard earlier, and I heard it in committee, I appreciate my colleagues' offer to offer firearms training, and if I ever want to pick up a new hobby, I will absolutely take them up on that. I don't want to have to use it as like a desensitization therapy for me to get comfortable being in a society with guns. I don't want to have to get comfortable being surrounded by firearms every hour of every day. I heard another colleague talk about peace. Sounds like we all want peace. I happen to believe that it's not something that's just gonna happen one day. We have to make it so. We have to work every day to try to make our communities more safe, more peaceful. It will not happen overnight. But that's the work that I'm here to do. And Representative Brown and I have talked a lot while prepping for this bill and acknowledging outright, this bill will not solve 100% any problem. Hardly any law here will, to be frank. We recognize that this is like decades-long work to get us out of this like heightened state we are, where no one feels safe. And I'm here to take the time to do that work. I don't expect massive change overnight, but I will put in the work to do the things for my family, for my children. And I want to finish. If any of you see me crying or like eyes welled up with tears the last couple of weeks, it's because my mother-in-law died the Friday before last. We were very, very lucky to I was out of this place, I didn't have committee, so we could drive down to Pueblo to say goodbye to my mother-in-law. She died on Friday, I heard, when I was on the floor here. So that's what the waterworks have been about. When we went to Pueblo, I was in her living room after I took a break from being at her bedside. My mother-in-law was this wonderful weaver, this kind of hippie artist. And in her living room, she had a loom, like an old school loom. And she had a project on the loom that was unfinished. She had been working on it until the day she had the stroke and was in hospice. And I think about that loom and why I even bring it up. It's because that means something to me. I have no idea how this problem will get eventually solved or how long it will take. But I'm going to keep doing the work every day until we get there. I am going to continue to weave on my own loom of public policy or doing things in my community, to hopefully weave together our communities, weave us together so that we don't feel that we have to be strapped to head out to our streets or movie theaters or any place like that. That's the work that I'm here to do.
Representative Lindsay, you have 30 seconds remaining.
Perfect timing. The work continues. There are a menu of things that will help address gun deaths, and this is one of them. This is a great bill. I'm so proud to be a part of it. I'm so proud of my partner in our coalition, and I urge the strongest I vote on this bill. Thank you.